This is a video about the problems of perception. Okay, so like most of my videos, this subject comes from conversations I have with friends, which I then go away and think way too much about, as if I'm writing some sci-fi fan fiction about our lives. What do I mean by the problems of perception? Well, to explain that, I'd have to explain my choice of friends. For some reason, most of my really good friends happen to be fantastically egotistical and self-made. A lot of them do YouTube, a lot of them are creative, and almost all of them have taught themselves the skills to pay said bills in life. I'm also like that, and although I'm now older and take pains to reduce my ego, I still kind of think I'm utterly fantastic. Jokes aside, in my youth I was a proper arrogant little shit. Life has a tendency to kick the shit out of you though, and if you're lucky, that inflated sense of self-worth doesn't last forever. On to the perception part. So I'd noticed in my own life that when I grew depressed and had problems with substance abuse, it's because I believed there was no other way of dealing with the situation I found myself in. And that's the point. I believed that. So accustomed had I been to my perception of the world around me being correct that I trusted it over everyone else's opinion and even evidence to the contrary. In my friends I see the same trait. So used to being able to manufacture measures of success in whatever field they choose to apply themselves, they totally believe the way that they see the world is in fact the correct way to see it. I'm sure many of you watching believe that too. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Well, here's the thing. When I was ill, and I really was in a bad way, nobody could convince me that I didn't know what was coming around the corner. So sure was I in my perception of the world and my place in it that I just couldn't accept the fact that I might get it wrong. But the truth is, our perceptions are flawed and badly flawed at that. People often try to convince me to try and get myself together, to at least try to become a human again, and I would just answer with surety, there is no point. Then one day something upsetting happened. There was a girl from school who honestly was one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen. She was also an utterly fantastic person, a truly unconceited gem, kind, empathetic and unpretentious. One day, while at the lowest point in my life, I was sitting alone on a park bench. She, out of nowhere, sat next to me and said hi. I hadn't seen her in years, but she was perhaps even more beautiful than the last time that I saw her. We conversed for about 10 minutes. Then something I could never have predicted happened. She told me she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. For those of you who don't know, that's a horrifically debilitating degenerative disease with no cure or effective treatment. At that moment, I realized that I couldn't predict everything. That actually, we are never really in control and that our perceptions of life are fundamentally flawed. That is the reason I now choose to believe I'm capable of anything and that anything is possible. We can't know the future, no matter how well we trust our feelings that we can. Never come up with reasons as to why you can't do things. Life will sometimes provide those reasons for you free of charge. Later, folks.